Ever feel like you're just too lazy to start anything? You sit on your bed, phone in hand, scrolling through nonsense, and the idea of being productive feels like a mountain you don't have the energy to climb. But what if I told you that your laziness isn't the problem? What if I told you that being lazy is actually a secret weapon if you learn how to use it right? You don't need superhuman discipline, you don't need 5 a.m. workouts or motivational speeches, you just need 20 seconds. Yeah, 20 seconds is all it takes to start rewiring your life. Let me show you how the 20-second rule can turn your laziness into your biggest advantage. Let's face it, your brain is wired to take the easiest route. It doesn't care about your goals, dreams, or your 12-week fitness plan. It just wants comfort. That's why you always reach for the remote instead of the book. Or scroll TikTok instead of working on that side hustle. But here's the thing, the brain isn't your enemy, it's just efficient. If something takes too much effort to start, it avoids it. If something is easy and right in front of you, it does it without question. So instead of fighting that, what if you used it? That's where the 20-second rule comes in. This rule was introduced by Shawn Achor, a happiness researcher, who realized something powerful. If you reduce the activation energy, the effort it takes to start a task, by just 20 seconds, you're way more likely to do it. Let's break this down with some real-life examples. Example 1. Want to read more? Make it 20 seconds easier. You say you want to read more, but every night your book is on the shelf and your phone is already in your hand. Your brain chooses the path of least resistance, so scrolling wins every time. Try this instead. Put your book on your pillow in the morning. At night, when you're ready to sleep, the book is already there. And keep your phone out of reach, maybe across the room. Suddenly, reading becomes easier by 20 seconds, and doom scrolling becomes harder. It's not about willpower, it's about design. When something is easier to start, it's more likely to happen. No guilt, no inner debate. That book on your pillow, it's a quiet invitation. 1 page becomes 2, 2 becomes 10. And before you know it, your reading habit builds itself. Now you're not forcing yourself to read. You've just made it the easy option. And easy wins every time. Example 2. Want to work out? Kill the setup time. You tell yourself you'll go for a run tomorrow. But tomorrow comes, and now you have to dig out your workout clothes, find your shoes, charge your headphones, and suddenly Netflix feels like a better choice. Here's the 20-second hack. Lay out your workout clothes the night before. Put your shoes by the door. Charge your headphones while you sleep. Now the effort to start working out drops dramatically. You wake up and everything's ready. The action no longer feels overwhelming because the friction is gone. It's not about motivation, it's about momentum. That small prep the night before signals intent. You've already committed without saying a word. And once you're dressed, it's easier to step out the door than crawl back under the covers. Tiny decisions stack up. They shape who you become. When you make action easier to start, consistency follows. Soon, you're not just someone who tries to work out, you are someone who works out. And it all starts with a 20-second head start. Example 3. Want to stop wasting time on your phone? Add friction. This rule works in reverse too. If you want to stop a bad habit, make it 20 seconds harder to start. Move social media apps off your home screen. Log out of Netflix after every session. Turn off auto sign-in for YouTube. Now, every time your lazy brain wants that dopamine hit, it runs into resistance. And when something takes even a little more effort, your brain's like, never mind. It works like magic, because you're not depending on discipline. You're just hacking your environment. Friction gives your brain time to think. That 20-second delay creates a pause, just long enough for your conscious mind to step in. You're not saying no forever, you're just saying not right now. And that's powerful. One extra step becomes a silent barrier between you and the thing you regret doing later. It's not about being perfect, it's about being intentional. Every little obstacle you add makes mindless habits less tempting. And suddenly, time feels like it's back in your hands. You didn't quit your bad habits, you just made them harder to reach. Your environment is your invisible hand. Here's the truth nobody tells you. Willpower is overrated. Environment is everything. You think successful people are just more disciplined. No, they're just better at setting up their environment to work for them, not against them. If your guitar is buried in a closet, you won't play it. If junk food is the first thing you see in your kitchen, you'll eat it. If your workspace is cluttered and your to-do list is nowhere in sight, you'll scroll Instagram. But if you place your goals within reach, literally 20 seconds away, you're building momentum without even trying. The 20-second rule isn't about being perfect, it's about being smart. You don't need a fancy routine, you just need an environment that supports your goals. By reducing the barriers to good habits and raising the obstacles to bad ones, you can turn your space into your greatest ally. This is where change begins, subtle, easy, and powerful. The best part? These changes don't take hours to implement. In fact, they can often be done in minutes. Once your environment starts to work for you, those small tweaks lead to major results. Even the smallest tweaks work. This rule applies to anything. Want to journal more? Keep a notebook and pen on your nightstand. Want to stretch in the morning? Roll out your yoga mat before bed. Want to learn a new language? Set your flashcards as your lock screen. These aren't massive changes. They take less than a minute to set up, but they make the action 20 seconds easier to start, which makes you 10 times more likely to do it. It's about reducing the friction between you and the action. And once you realize that, your laziness becomes a tool, not a flaw. And the beauty is, the 20-second rule works both ways. Want to stop binge watching late at night? Unplug the TV. Want to quit online shopping? Delete your saved cards. Want to stop hitting snooze? Put your alarm across the room. None of these take superhuman effort. They just nudge your brain toward better decisions. The goal isn't perfection. It's momentum. Because once you start the habit, even if it's tiny, consistency kicks in. And that's where real change lives. Small tweaks, big results, just 20 seconds at a time. Why it works? Your brain craves habits because habits save energy. But the hardest part of any habit is starting it. That's called the activation energy. If starting something feels hard, your brain avoids it. But when it feels effortless, your brain rewards you. That's why people who say, "I'll just do it for 2 minutes," often end up doing it for 20. The 20-second rule works by lowering the starting resistance. Once you begin, your brain takes over, momentum kicks in. Suddenly you're in the flow, and that task you were dreading is already halfway done. Everyone alive. You don't need motivation, you need motion. And motion starts with just 20 seconds less effort. Here's the kicker. Your brain loves progress. Each small win releases dopamine, reinforcing the habit. Doesn't care how big the action is, just that you took action. That's why reducing friction, even slightly, has such a massive payoff. You feel good, so you keep going. Over time, this rewires your brain to prefer the easier, better habit. You're literally training your brain to seek growth. And it all starts with how your environment feels in the first 20 seconds. Success isn't about willpower, it's about setting the right stage for your brain to win. Here's what I want you to remember. You're not lazy because you lack motivation. You're lazy because your environment is too easy for the wrong things and too hard for the right ones. But you can flip that. You want to change your life? Don't start with goals. Start with 20 seconds. Make good habits easier, make bad habits harder. Rearrange your environment like your future depends on it, because it does. You don't need to push harder, you just need to remove the friction, because the difference between the life you want and the one you have might just be 20 seconds.